Welcome to the 123rd episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome, returning viewers. And for those of you watching us for the first time, we're so glad you could join us. And we hope that you're staying warm in these frigid temperatures. We're certainly staying warm. We're not going out too much, not too many adventures. But on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about what's on Colleen's needles, finished objects,
a little bit of work with my sewing machine.
Oh yes, and some crafting adventures that Colleen's been up to. But before we talk about all of that, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So let's talk about May first of all. She is wearing it is from the Agent 99 cowl by Dawn Maurer. And that pattern has lots of texture. And what I decided to do is take a little bit of texture, but work more with color. And I decided to use Barocco Comfort knitting worsted. And it is lovely. So it's nylon and acrylic.
Very soft.
It is very soft. And it's nice because you don't have wool against your neck. But, we have discovered that when you keep your neck warm,
your whole body's warm.
It's warm. Exactly. I said to me, here, I'm going to give you this. So it was a sock head cowl. And I said, it stretches. You don't have to worry about it getting caught on your earrings. Just put it over. It'll keep your neck warm. And you are wearing it all the time.
I wear it all the time because it's just when you don't do your coat all the way up,
Exactly.
It just gives you that warmth.
Exactly.
I like it. So,
good.
But we don't have that here to show you, but
no,
it's warm.
But that's true.
And also, while we're on the subject of this, it's the Hudson's Bay colors, which I love. And you've done car blankets in this. Car seat blanket. And you did a great big Afghan type thing for me. And you've done this. And I just love the Hudson's Bay
The colors
look.
are beautiful.
The Hudson's Bay colors, too, are not copyrighted.
That's right.
So there you go. But anyway, I like it, and I get lots of compliments when I wear this one.
Good. I'm glad you do. So that's what May is wearing. And I'm wearing the Turnt, and that's by Laura Nelkin. And it is a double wrap. Now, it is not a double wrap with lots of extra room on it, but it's just perfect because I'm thinking the same thing. I could wear this under a coat. It'd be great. So this has two yarns that I used. One is the Scrumptious Lace by Fiber Spates. And the other one is the one that makes it tweed. So the background is this kind of tealy green color. And then all the little flecks come from the Creative Make It Tweed. And that's by Rico Designs.
Actually, when I was looking at this, I thought it was actually a headband you were knitting. It kind of looks like the headband.
It does look like a headband
with that twist in it. Same idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here looking at this too, Colleen. This cowl. And I really like that color.
Oh!
Like, I really like that. That's nice.
Guess what? I've got work to do.
But also, I'm wondering, I'm just curious.
Yes.
Could you knit this in a heavier yarn?
I would have to do some adjustment on the needles, but I can do
But
it
it's
on the
possible.
sides. Yeah, it's possible.
And that would be, like, it sits nice here because it would be nice and warm,
Right.
but with a heavier yarn under my coat.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it's just a thought while
All right.
I'm on here, and I'm kind of like, hold you two things.
She wants a new cowl.
I think it's on camera.
Let's be honest. So that's what we're wearing. And next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object is a pair of socks. So let May hold those up. And these are some nice shorty socks. And this was a pattern that I hacked a little bit. And it's Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erica Luder. Great pattern, by the way. Kind of nice texture. And the texture involves a couple of knit rows. So it makes, when you do a vanilla sock and it's all knit, this one is similar. There's not as much texture, but it really comes out nicely. And even in the self-striping, I really liked it.
Yeah, I love the colors. Love that.
Exactly.
Pink kind of sticks out a little bit.
Exactly. Well, we could work on that for you too.
That's nice.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you like them.
Yeah,
So
I like the texture in there. Like, it's kind of neat.
yeah,
And the ribbing around the
yes.
here is nice too.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you so much.
And now, what kind of heel did you use on this?
This is called an Eye of Partridge heel.
And the toe?
Is the toe that was in the pattern.
Oh.
Which has been a while.
That's nice though. That's nice.
There we go. Boy, it's like I'm on
It's like
you're on fire today.
20 questions.
So it's all about socks for birthdays right now. So that takes care of what?
Lots of birthdays coming up, I take it.
That's right. Well, if I get them done now, then I can do our work knitting. So it works out well. So the next is another pair of socks. Now, I don't have both of them on the blockers because they're both done. make and hold them up and show them that they're both done. And it is Katie Lou's sock pattern, and that's by Katie Lou Green, one of my favorites. And it is in Bernat socks. So there's no wool in this. It is...
You can wash and dry these.
Acrylic and nylon. Yeah, wash and dry.
Wash and dry. What kind of heel?
It is a heel flap and gusset.
And what kind of toe?
It is the cottage toe from Kay Jones,
Nice.
which is in her lattice socks.
These are very nice. Nice color.
Exactly. And I used a smaller needle because that is it makes it more almost like a slipper, that sock.
Nice.
It's nice and thick. So when I made yours, that's the very first sock class I ever went to. I made it out of a similar yarn with that size of needle, and that's why I went back to that
Very
size of
nice.
needle, because you like those socks,
I
which is
do.
good. But those aren't for you. And I have to tell you, the colorway just makes me giggle. It's called tutu. Which when you look at it, it's tutu. All right. So my next finished object is another pair of these socks. It's Katie Lou sock pattern by Katie Lou Green. But what I did was I used some opal. So it is Vincent van Gogh opal, which is beautiful. Now, this is the Starry Night, or Starry Night. And here, same idea. I had to use one of the other blockers. So these.
Okay.
Now, this is a little more
Rustic.
rustic, toothy.
As soon as I touched it, I knew right away.
I know, and this has been blocked, so I soaked it so it's even softer than it was when I was working on it. And once again, birthday socks, but I think the person that is going, they'll take good care of them. And the opal's a little thicker, so I actually made, instead of a usual 72 stitch sock, I made it a 64 stitch sock.
Turned out quite nice.
I'm very happy with
Yes.
that. Now, the person that's getting this did a project in school on Vincent van Gogh and on that picture.
That's cute. So
And I sent, they don't have no idea. I sent them a text saying, "Did you do a project on blah 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 blah?" And because I thought I have 2 children and I know it's one of them, but I figured it was the oldest one, and so I yes, as a matter of fact. Why are you asking? And then I thought, oh, I'm busted right away. It's okay. So
anyway,
we
that's
both
cool.
had a good chuckle about it. So that's that. Now, my next finished object is another one of the Zuu Petals, and that's by Karina Spencer. And this is using Heartland. So this doesn't have any wool in it, and I was working on this to see 2 things. How would it knit up, and how would it block? So it knit up very nice, like it's nice, it's soft, and this yarn, if you want to have some acrylic yarn that doesn't look flat, like just one color, this has got it. It's got this little, I don't know how they've done it, but it's brilliant. So it shows different colors in it, even though it's like a dark burgundy,
fleck.
a little fleck in it. They're looking for words, and she just needs to
We help each other.
We do. Now, I did a wet block in this. I didn't steam it because I didn't want to flatten this. But to be honest with you, I'm going to have to go back and steam the bottom. It's a little too ripply. It needs to lay flatter. But this is one of those ones pulls right over your head. So I won't make May do that right now.
That would be nice.
But I'm going to have her try it because if that's a pattern that she likes, then that may be something that I make for our booth.
Oh, that's really nice. That's
Thank you.
very nice.
Yeah.
Nice color too.
And it knits up quicker. Like the Zuu Petals, just so that you know, this pattern has the directions for fingering weight yarn, double knitting, worsted weight, and actually bulky weight yarn. So
Wow.
it's a great pattern if you want to, you want to make some Christmas gifts, for instance, and you want them to look a little differently. Then you get all the different kinds of yarns, and
It'd be kind of neat to see this in bulky.
Oh, it'd be thick, but I know it would be good.
Yeah.
Give
Oh,
it
would
a
it
try.
be too thick?
I don't know. I've not done it.
Maybe.
That's worsted weight.
Right.
So that's one under bulky weight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
And then the last of my finished object is something called the Stola by Laura Nelkin. No beads on this one. And basically it is either to be used kind of as a trivet, or it's a dishcloth pattern is what she says.
I thought it was a doily.
May said doily.
It looks like a doily, like a...
But wouldn't that be pretty though to have
For what?
as your dishcloth? I think it would be great. So this is the Suds by Estelle.
It has spaghetti and everything all over it. Like, it looks nice.
Well, maybe it would be better for a washcloth.
Framing it or something, not like spaghetti ridden.
Okay.
It's too nice for a washcloth.
Now there's a small and a large in this pattern. This is the small. I thought that was pretty big for a small. So
maybe
anyway,
a coaster, maybe, I don't know.
yeah, you could, well, you'd have to make it tinier, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not sure that it's very practical. But.
It was fun to do. I have to say, what I like,
cool.
you know that I've used Laura Nelkin's patterns. What I like about them, I shouldn't say always, most often there are some videos that show you some things. So this has a different kind of bind off, has a different kind of start to it. So I really like learning.
Maybe you should put some beads on it and you can wear it as a beanie or something.
She's got ideas. She has all kinds of ideas.
There you go.
Now, one thing I forgot, and I apologize, if you can hold up the very
Sure.
first thing I showed.
The socks?
The socks, because I forgot to show the yarn. It's Wool Free Brights by Premier Yarns.
And we like this yarn.
Exactly, we do. And that is called the Neon Violet.
Very good.
So those are my finished objects in May. How about you?
I have nothing to fit. Nothing.
She said nothing.
I got a lot of things on the go, but nothing that's absolutely finished.
Okay.
So I apologize for that, but I'll be working on that.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is the Anvil Cowl by Hilary Smith Callis. And that is in the Hoko Hoko Fiber Company, and this is their Dotty base. So it's fingering weight. Now this is tonal yarn, and I know I've said this before, but I hope that you can see what it is. It's just not, I'm gonna hold some, that to me is flat. It's just gold. It's beautiful, but it's just gold. This has different kinds of tones. So there's greens that go from a dark teal to a lighter, and it's beautiful. Now, this is showing you the shape of this pattern, because if you've never done it before, you're gonna be going like, what's going to go? What's going to go? So you start here, and then you work your way, and then you start binding off here. So at some point in time, this side is going to be the same length as that side, and I know that I'm ready to bind off. I'm going to do an I-cord bind off because I'm really liking how that edge is coming up. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm really close to being done, but I want to make sure I don't have one side shorter than the other when I'm doing it.
Now, the ho-ho are those people, just a reminder, that we met at the London, Ontario craft show, and we were chatting with them, and we actually met the dyers, which was awesome, and they're fairly new, so give them a look and see what you think, but you're really happy with this yarn.
The yarn is beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, nice.
And I think it'll be nice.
I love that color. Like, I really like that color.
I know. Me too.
I think it's my color.
No, it's not her color. She's more of an aqua. That's okay. Now, my next works in progress are really close to being finished, but they're not quite. But I want to show you those because I need to talk about yarn and I need to talk about what's going on. So what I have done is I worked on the Chunky Cabled Hat by Destiny Meyer.
I love these hats.
I know, so much fun. Now, this is the first one that I did.
I love it. And you're going to need that in this weather right now.
Exactly. Now, this is Charisma. Now, it doesn't say tweed on the band, but it is Charisma tweed. And it has 93 yards or 85 meters to the ball. Okay. So I did not have enough to make the hat and pom-pom.
Oh, you did?
I had to go into a second ball to make the pom-pom.
Oh, the pom-poms are so... You did such a great job.
I
You
think
always
I did.
get compliments on your pom-pom.
There you go.
Pom-poms. People always say how great you do
That's
pom-pom. But they are
okay.
nice. And I see you've buttoned this one in.
Button it in so it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
that's that. Now, that's the first one. Now, I've got two other ones. Now, this is the same idea. It is Charisma, but this is 109 yards or 100 meters to the 100 gram ball. And
These are the same hat?
same hat. Now, this is the one I showed before was 85 grams, and this is 100 grams. So I get that entire hat out of one ball.
Oh, that's good. With the pom-pom and
With the pom-pom and everything.
Right.
Now, what I did, it's very interesting. If you've ever worked with Charisma, it's lovely yarn. It's 100% acrylic, machine wash, machine dry. It's lovely. But the newer version of it is a little thicker. So when I made this hat, it didn't feel the same size as this hat. So it's not that much off, but the ribbing is not as snug as I like. So what I did, because I'm learning how to juggle a pattern, so I changed the ribbing, the number of stitches for the ribbing, and then I increased the stitches to do the rest of that.
So this one's a little tighter.
It's a little snugger.
A little snugger than this one.
Yeah. Both of them are okay. And if you've got lots of hair, like a ponytail or something,
You want this one.
Yeah, exactly.
You want this one, and if you're bald, you want this one.
Me, I'll have one of those. Now, the reason why they are works in progress is because I don't have their tags on them yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's my job.
They'll look great with the tags on.
I know.
think these would be good sellers because when we did have our booth, we were selling quite a few hats.
Right.
And,
And what was happening with our booth is I had infants' hats, I had child's hats, but I didn't have adult hats.
And people wanted adult hats?
They wanted adult hats. So I think if I had somebody who's 7 or 8 or 9, this would fit them just fine. But because there's lots of give to it,
Right.
if it needs to be. And so I think I'm just going to do the infants probably with 2 pom-poms, and then I'll do
Just the adult ones.
the
and
adults ones.
nothing in between.
Nothing in between, I think.
You think?
You know, it's all a learning curve.
Yeah.
This booth business is all a learning curve. Now, you may say, why are you doing that now? Because your next booth is in April, and who's going to be wearing a hat?
Right.
But who wants to be knitting with big chunky wool
In the
when it's summer?
Right.
Unless you're in a
That's
very
a great
air-conditioned
idea.
house.
Yeah, that's a good
So I'm
idea.
just trying to get things done.
And then
I
you can
wanted
put
to-
them in a nice bin, put the lid on
Exactly.
it, and then when we're ready to sell in our,
That's right.
in the fall or in the winter,
Right.
it's all ready to go. So very
Exactly.
smart.
Oh, well, some days. Some days.
And I think when you're in the business of retail and clothing, I think you
Right.
got to be like seasons ahead of the game.
I know.
I think they do that. So.
Yeah, I was at Costco this morning, and they have their skirts out. Their little skirts.
For the spring.
Well, their skirts are out now, and we are at minus 20 degrees Celsius right now. Craziness,
Wow,
that's for
crazy.
sure. Exactly. So those are my works in progress. And May, how about you?
Lots of works in progress. I've got videos going on. I did finish a video on my beds.
Right.
And I finished the video on refurbishing the cutting board. So if you want to
Yes.
see that video, it's up. Have a look at it, check
Yeah.
it out. if
It
you
was a
like.
great video. I
Yes.
really liked it.
Now, there's one thing in the video. I talked a little bit. I just brushed over it. It was a cutting board that I got from the dollar store. I think it was like $3.50 or
Okay.
$4. And I was just using that as an experiment. And it
Right.
was sitting in the garage. And I thought, well, I'll just take it over to my booth and I'll put $10 on it because I put some resin on it and I did some work with it, just
Right.
a little bit of resin. And it just sold the other day. So I was pretty happy.
Very good.
And so I have to go and resource some things for my little booth.
Right.
And I went out to one of the Goodwills and I got this beautiful big round kind of an ornament piece for it would be for a bigger home. Maybe
Yes,
we
yes.
have a small home. It's really not going to fit in anywhere we have.
It scared me the other day.
But it would be great if somebody had a large hallway or something like that. And also I got a little angel that's my angels always do really well at the booth. And I got one of those and it's stained glass and it'll sell, I think. And they sell throughout the year. The
Right,
angels do.
right.
So that'll be good.
Very good.
So I've been doing that. Those are kind of finished objects that I've gotten to go over there. So then I finished somebody had asked me about my miniature beds, and I appreciate that question. And if I was going to show some miniatures, so I decided to videotape.
Oh,
and
excellent.
I videotaped my how do I make miniature beds, and I'll put that up in case you're interested.
Right.
And maybe somebody is interested in doing that. So that's finished.
Excellent.
And I'll put that up in probably next week or so. And other than that, it's been busy.
We are busy, that's for sure.
But enjoyable.
Exactly. And that's so nice. Like crafts,
Yeah.
we love to craft, as you know. And so it's so much fun.
It is, and we craft together. Like
Yes, we
usually
do.
we're in the basement, and Colleen's usually sewing or knitting or whatever, and then I'm in the other room where I can
Exactly.
spill paint.
We don't want to talk
I
about
spilled
that.
paint the other day, didn't I?
You did.
It's brown paint, but it's in the storage room,
Right.
which is okay. The carpet's a little bit of a mess, but anyway,
Okay.
we now have a brown.
We're not
carpet.
talking about it.
No, we won't.
We're just
talk
not going to talk about it. So
All right, so
those
that's-
are our works in progress, and next we're going to talk about our adventure.
Now, for our adventure, the weather's minus 20. We haven't been adventuring out anywhere, so we've had to stay in the house and create our own little adventures. I've been working on my miniatures, just in that other room where I spilled the paint. So that was an adventure. And Colleen's been working on some really cool things, and we usually discuss them and talk about them. But
Exactly.
I'm excited for you to share your adventure, what you've been learning and what you're up to.
All right. So we had talked about our spring craft fair thing. And what are we going to sell if we don't have knits and things?
And hats. In the
And
spring,
hats
you
and-
can't
yeah.
really sell winter wear.
You can't. So then it was, okay, what else can I do? So I thought, well, there's things I can sew. And so, as I showed you last time, I bought some sashiko. One of those three is right. So we'll say all. And so what I decided to do is I would make a coaster. Now you may have seen this on Instagram because it was the first thing that I did. Now I didn't have, no, that's not true. I did have some sashiko fabric, but I wasn't brave. Nope, I was not brave.
You're never brave.
No. So what I did was,
She's not like me that all
No.
just goes in and goes.
so I thought I have some denim, and I saw somebody do some sashiko and denim, and I knew I had some felt to do the back of a coaster. So I thought I'll just do a coaster. Now, sashiko just means little steps. It's Japanese. It's an art form. It's to make fabric stronger and last longer. As a coaster, there you go. So there is my denim coaster. Now each one of these patterns has a name. And if you ask me the name, I can't remember right now. But they all have a different name depending on the pattern. Now what I did, we got some Christmas money with Amazon, and so I got some templates. And the templates actually have the running stitches marked out. So I thought that was a good place to start.
So what you do is you put the template on,
Yep.
and then you mark just kind of like, what do you call stencils?
It's like a stencil. I've got heat erasable marking pens, also from Amazon. And so I used a white one because I knew I was going to be using white thread. Now this thread isn't actually sashiko thread because once again, I'm a chicken when it comes to trying something new. So I tried denim and I tried its DMC number 8 in white. And I'm really happy. And I said to May, there was something that I didn't do. And I didn't leave enough room to do a stitch around the edge because the corners are right where that pattern ends. So I should have left a bit of a 1/4 of an inch space around the outside, but I'm learning. But that is totally a usable coaster. So somebody may be getting one of those in their stocking, or we may try to sell something like that.
Right. And that's how you learn. That's how I learn from all the mistakes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the mistakes. It's not like it was a mistake.
No.
It's just that next time you do better and better. And that's how you do end up doing better with your crafts and stuff.
Exactly.
But you got to start, just put your foot in there, your big toe in, and get going on it. But for your first project, I think it turned out great.
I'm very happy with it.
Really
It's
nice.
good.
It'd be nice to have a set of these.
Exactly.
Actually. Yeah, those
Now,
are great.
the nice thing is I bought 2 other templates that are this size.
Right.
Now, I have books that tell you how to design a template. And I found somebody on YouTube who does 4 different coasters and actually has a template that you can trace.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and you know what? Now that you've talked about coasters, I think I'm gonna do some resin coasters and put a video up
that's
on
a great
how
idea.
to do that too. Because,
Great
but
idea.
I'm really liking the material coasters. I really think that because we're gifted a material coaster,
Right, exactly.
and I use it all the time, and I thought that's so practical.
It is. And
great.
I'm hoping that the felt won't let it slip.
Right, and I like the denim idea.
I
That's
know,
really cool.
that was kinda cool.
Nice.
Now, you know me. I'm hoping that I can do something like this and put it in a project bag. But right
It
now,
all evolves around back to knitting. All around back to knitting.
sometimes. Now, one of the other things that I got is a kit that had 3 of these. They're called Japanese towels. I'm going to say it once and then I won't say it again. It's Han Fukin is my understanding of how to pronounce it. And it's a Japanese cloth that can be used to cover a fruit bowl. It can be used
You mean
as a
to
tea towel
not
kind
have
of
the
thing.
bugs come in and stuff?
Yep. You just lay it over top. Or I actually saw somebody was using it to dry their hair. That's a whole other story. I don't know. But I didn't quite understand how the process came because these things came this big and then you have to fold them over and then you have to make them a certain size. So it's important that the front and back look proper. So this had the markings all on them. So on one side it had the markings. On this side it has lots of lovely Japanese, which I don't understand any of it. And this is the hemp leaf pattern. And so I'm not done it obviously. So you tend to see either a dark background with white thread.
Usually this was the original
Yep.
kind of sashiko
Right.
pattern,
Right.
with the dark and the
Right.
light thread.
Yep.
You very rarely see with the light and the dark thread, right?
I've seen more of it than I thought I would. So there was a person when I was trying to figure out how to pronounce Han Fukin, they were doing one, but they actually used red thread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's all different possibilities. Now, I had to do this all by hand. So you fold it, you stitch it together. So everything's done by hand in this. And once it's done, you wash it. And I've tried really hard to make this, there's no knots in this, which means when I wash it, this is actually sashiko thread. The threads will kind of go together and it won't come out.
Oh, there you go. Well, you're doing great, and you're on your way. And now, was the blue wash out when you wash it?
The blue washes out. So that was the thing that was a bit of an issue because I couldn't use my steam iron because if any steam got on this, all the lines would disappear.
Oh dear.
So the good news is I bought myself one of these little irons that are so cute. And I thought, well, I'm never putting water in it right now. And then I don't have to worry about the lines disappearing.
Can you put water in that thing?
Yes. It's a little steam iron. And I thought,
okay.
I know the big iron that we have
Right.
has had water in it. And I don't want to take a chance that some steam will take some of the lines out. So I thought, I'll use the new little one.
And you like it?
And I like it. And it did things well. And it pressed things nicely. And,
that's
I didn't
great.
have to worry about any water or steam.
It's coming nicely.
It
Be
is.
nice.
Now, I have to admit that, oh my gosh, my hands are finding this a little interesting. I found muscles in my thumb that I didn't know I had. And I found a place on my finger that I'm working on, a lovely callus.
Maybe
There we
that's
go.
time to quit. Like, not quit, but,
No.
you know, when you go into something, you just go crazy. Like,
Yes.
don't you? Like,
Yes.
maybe do half an hour, put it away.
Right.
Maybe knit and then do something
Right.
else.
Well, what I've tried to do, which is basically what you're saying, is I take out one thread and I stitch it until it's done.
Okay.
And then you're supposed to not take out another thread, but sometimes I take out another thread. So anyway, it's good. It's getting there. I think I have not followed exactly how you're supposed to do it. There is a pattern of how you're supposed to do all the stitches to make sure everything is nice, but I don't want to waste thread because I'm not putting knots in.
Right.
So I'm trying to do that, but I'll get it figured out.
I'm sure you will.
Everything
You
will be
did-
covered.
Yeah.
Life will be good.
Good.
And you get to use this in the kitchen
Oh, nice.
or over top of your fruit bowl.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
There you go.
Nice.
So that's that. Now, somehow in all this process, I was at, what were we doing? You know what we were doing? We were looking at other things we could sew for the booth.
Right.
And one of the things that came across to us was a bowl cozy. We'd seen them at other craft fairs and I thought, well, I can try and make a bowl cozy. So I watched a few videos. Now the thing with videos on YouTube, you get 3 different videos and 3 different ways of doing it. So then you have to figure it all out. So what I decided to do was I thought I'll be the most careful. So one of the videos that I watched, they used this Pellin material. It's called Wrap Zap. So it's 100% natural cotton batting, and it's so that you can use it in the microwave. Now the thing with this, it's a little bit more expensive than regular cotton batting, and it's also really thick. So when I was doing my sewing, which I did, and I'm happy that it is, so there it is.
yes.
I'll let you hold that up. It's really thick. You need I used actually a jeans needle, like a needle that's for denim, just to get through all the layers. But it actually came out quite nice. And I sat a bowl in it, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, this would be great coming from the microwave and out. So I think if you're not going to actually use it in the microwave, and then you wouldn't have to worry quite so much. But I'm using 100% cotton thread. I'm using 100% cotton batting. I'm going to check to see if there's another batting that's not quite as thick.
That's microwavable?
And microwavable. And because I'm going to do that, that'll have one of one layer and one of that layer.
Right.
Because that definitely is going to do some insulating for you.
Right. Now I've seen these at the craft fairs that
Right.
I've had them in my hands.
Yeah.
This one seems to be a little bit more substantial than the ones
Okay.
that I've had in my hand.
Right, right.
And it sits more like a bowl
Right.
for some reason. I don't know. That might be the pattern that you've used is different.
Okay.
But it does feel a little bit thicker.
Right.
But you want to use the right stuff. I mean, if you're going to
Exactly.
put things in a microwave, you do want to have microwavable stuff. And that could be a selling point. I
That's
mean,
right.
a little bit more expensive, but I'd rather use something that's for the microwave
Right. I
than
agree with
something
you.
that isn't. So.
Yeah.
And you say if it's not too much more expensive.
Right.
And
Right.
you could
So I
get
have to
it
do a
better.
little juggling because
Yeah.
we have to take a look at.
But this is great. I mean, you don't eat soup. I eat soup, and I'm
Right.
forever. If we reheat a soup, usually
Right.
I can't eat the whole thing by myself, and Colleen doesn't really help me out that way.
Sorry.
And so for the next day, if I have to heat up a bowl of soup,
Right.
I will pull it in the bowl, and I'm forever getting the tea towel
Oh,
and
okay.
trying to wangle my way up, and the microwave's up here.
Right.
This is going to help me out a whole lot.
there you
So,
go.
Yeah. I don't know what you could sell that for. How much? I guess you're going
I
to have
don't
to figure
know.
out how much material is involved
Exactly.
in that.
That's what I have to do.
And the time that takes to make it. I
Right,
don't know, you
right.
might get better at it as you go.
You know what? I mean, it took me from start to finish up. Like took the majority of an afternoon, but that's because it was the first time I'd done it.
Right.
Now that I've done it, I have a better idea of what I need to do.
I like it. I like the colors you chose too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good way to use up your. And these would be great gifts, even if they didn't sell.
Right.
My mom would probably appreciate. Your mom would probably appreciate that. too.
Exactly. I think
Very
it would
nice.
be fun.
Yeah.
So those are my sewing craft adventures. And May?
Yes, I don't have sewing craft adventures, knitting craft adventures. Sorry.
No, you are in the miniature mode right
Yes,
now.
I am.
Yes.
But once we get through that, we'll have more to come.
Sounds good. So next we're going to talk about our souvenirs. Okay, May, any souvenirs?
I do. Usually I don't have souvenirs, but I do have some souvenirs off of Amazon.ca. I've got some drill bits,
Ooh.
which you probably won't find very exciting, but I just love it. I'm so excited.
It's kind of like me and a new knitting needle. It's like, yes.
They're like different sizes, like 1964, which was an awkward size
Right.
that I didn't have. And this is a 1564, what I didn't have. And they're called kind of brad bits.
Oh, wow.
They have a point at the end of the drill bit.
Okay.
And so when you're doing, got these because when I do toys and I do the wheels,
Okay.
the point goes into where the wheel's going to go, and it makes it more accurate.
Ooh, very good.
So those would be
Okay,
great.
Excellent.
And then when Colleen and I were at our craft show, the lady across from us did a lot of woodworking, and she was selling like crazy things. Like,
Right.
But she was so busy. You know the
Exactly.
things that you get for your front porch?
Right.
There was reindeer. There was
Oh, they
all
were.
kinds of
I
things.
remember. Yeah.
She uses a scroll saw. So her and I got chatting about scroll saw and different blades. And she was kind enough to bring me some blades.
Wow,
And
that
to
was
let me
very
try them. I
nice.
thought that was really nice of her. And so I did try her Olsen PGT blades, number 7. And they are amazing. They are a
Okay.
great blade, and you don't have to sand as much. And I even tried it the other day, freezing in the garage I was. I tried to see if it would cut a 2x4, because those are the kind of things that I'm going to need to make these
Oh, wow,
toys.
right.
And it cut the 2x4 no problem. And
No.
you can see how small this was.
That's not possible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's
And
possible.
I didn't even have to hardly sand it.
That's so
You see how
small.
small? You probably can't even see that.
Oh my goodness.
And it cut a 2x4, not much of a problem with it at all. So that'll be handy.
I'm impressed.
And so then I got a few of these off Amazon. I got a
Right.
few more blades.
Yeah.
And in my scroll saw, I have circular blades.
Right.
That are even half that size,
Oh my goodness.
thickness wise.
Right.
And they're circular, and you move. It's a different movement. You move the wood.
Wow.
As opposed to, well, you move the wood with the other one. Anyway, it's a different movement that you
Right.
use when you have a circular blade.
Okay.
But they're all good, and I'm not sure my circular ones would cut through a 2x4.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm very excited about my souvenirs. And what about
Very
you?
good.
What about you been
Well,
buying?
Here's you go. You know how one thing leads into another? Well, here's what happened. On the back of that Wrapp Zap, it said that there were instructions for a baked potato zapper. And it's actually on the Pellin website. And so I just happened to be at Fabricland today.
And there's a
On the
big
way
sale
home
on
from-
today at
there,
Fabricland.
There is. For today and tomorrow is dealing with members, and then next week everybody can
Oh, okay.
get good deals. Now, I thought, if I'm going to make a potato zapper, I better have some fabric that reminds people of potatoes. So look what I found!
How could that be possible?
Unbelievable, it's potato fabric.
Yes. Red potatoes, purple potatoes, and
There you go.
white potatoes.
Exactly.
Gold potatoes.
So I thought that might be something to try. I've got some Wrap and Zap, I've got the potato fabric, and we'll try and make some of those bags. You slip your baked potatoes in them, and then away
You
go.
just don't have to worry about covering them or wrapping them. We usually
Exactly.
wrap them in paper
Paper
towel,
towel.
but this would say the paper towel.
Exactly.
And the lady that you were saying that was talking to you, she
Yeah.
had said that they're great.
They're fantastic. So it helped that I'd already had the fabric cut, and she told me it was good. And the other thing is, you know how sometimes things are meant to be? Mm-hmm. So I said to the lady who was cutting my fabric, I said, I need 2 meters, please. And she said, oh, there's an extra piece here, which, because sometimes if there's just a little bit left, they put it back on the mold. And it was exactly my 2 meters.
Really?
So she didn't even have to pick up her scissors.
Wow.
I know.
Great.
It was
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to wrapping and zapping.
Yeah.
So we'll make it, and then we'll try it out. And
We'll
then see.
videotape us putting it in the microwave.
Okay.
And then we'll videotape to see how the potato is when it comes out.
Okay. That sounds like a good
Wow.
plan.
Nice.
So thanks so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, because we really enjoy doing this for you, and we're having a great time crafting, even when we can't do an adventure to a store.
That's right.
So until next time.
You take care.